Thank you everyone for coming to day 2 of IGDC. I hope you all had a good day 1. I see a lot of tired faces. It's like, so sleepy. I'm sure you had like a nice fun night yesterday. And I hope you met with a lot of people. So, today is pretty exciting. Like this is a topic, in fact, all of Unreal side of business today is quite exciting to me personally because we are all going to be talking mostly about Unreal Engine for Fortnite. And so, welcome to this talk where I will be talking about Unreal Engine for Fortnite or UEFN. Because UEFN has been quite exciting and it has garnered interest from a lot of people, especially from gamers, because it provides you the ability to import custom assets and to customize the look and feel of the experience. And we are finding creators from all over the world who are finding creative ways to tell stories. And that's all you need to do, because all the boilerplate that you typically look at when you are making a game, such as matchmaking and server management or any of those things are taken care of in UEFNs, which is nice, or Unreal Engine. So in this talk today, while there will be technical aspects to it, where I will walk you through how to create a UEFN experience, I really hope that this talk is more about you taking some kind of inspiration back so that you can, I want to seed some ideas, so you take those ideas and then that will inspire you to make your own Fortnite Creative Island inside using UEFN. So let's begin. Just as a quick introduction, I am Arvind Neelakantan. I am the Technical Account Manager for Epic Games. I am based out of Chennai in India. Anyone from Chennai? Yes, woo, Chennai. Anyone? It's too many cities in India, so I'll stop with Chennai. I primarily work with studios who are based out of South Asia, Middle East and Africa. And my job is really, frankly speaking, it's about connecting people who have technical questions to people who will have answers, because I don't have all the answers myself. So while I try to answer technical questions, I just do the connection. And I'm also constantly getting feedback from all the users about Unreal Engine, about UEFN, and I just take that back to the engineering team, so that we get better with our product development. So if you want to get in touch with me, those are my handles, so definitely check it out. So let's look at the agenda of my talk today. So we'll begin with an introduction about what UEFN is, what Fortnite is, and what not. Second, I will talk about the inspiration behind this talk in the first place. Third, I'll share some technical tips on how you can bring your own local or add your own local flavors to your Unreal Engine or Fortnite island using simple photogrammetry techniques. Fourth, I will propose a thesis which is based on conversations and observations I have been having with studios who are using Fortnite Creative already on how to build an ideal team composition if you want to build a UEFN experience. And finally, we'll talk about next steps to seed some ideas. Sounds good? Yes? Cool. Let's go. So let's start with introduction. This was published in an article published in the Washington Post where Netflix had this to say. They said, we compete with Fortnite more than HBO. But why Fortnite? When 500 million people are paying attention to the founding block of the next generation of entertainment, with about 62.7% of the audience consisting of Gen Z or Gen Z, if you're American, it's really common sense. And this stat, by the way, was published in the Business of Apps. And there's also a new generation, right? The new generation Alpha, and they are on the brink. And we are seeing that the way they are consuming content, where they are, even the patterns of how they're consuming content is actually being redefined as never before. So it's no wonder that someone like Netflix, who has been having a decade of dominance in the video space, is now also getting into the gaming space. And I'm sure a lot of you folks have opened up your Netflix app and found games in there, right? Pretty cool. So with UEFN, which is our newest development tool, you can reach to this massive player base with the best-in-class ecosystem of tools. All you really need to do is create and publish. The Fortnite ecosystem itself can be thought of in pretty much 4 phases. There is a making and updating part of your phase. Then there is the part where you are attracting players publishing your game, and then you're attracting your players through marketing efforts. And finally, the most interesting part is you make money out of it. And oftentimes, creator studios are in multiple phases at once across their game development because UEFN naturally allows for faster iteration, and you're also able to just publish your games while you're also getting feedback from your game developers, and you can continue to fine-tune and add improvements to your game, all while you're getting paid. And because you publish Fortnite because you're publishing into the Fortnite ecosystem, your game or your experience is also automatically available in pretty much all platforms where Fortnite is automatically available, which is across platforms from mobile to console to Switch to PC and so on. Now, UEFN is in beta, and it was launched earlier in GDC, so that combines the ease of design for both creative and which is the Fortnite creative, and also part of what UE5 or Unreal Engine 5 tool has to offer. So if you are an existing Fortnite creative person, by the way, is there anyone who has used the old Fortnite creative mode? Awesome. So you are in good place because everything that you love about Fortnite creative exists as is. And you also have UEFN on top of it because you get all of these new features that you see inside Unreal Engine. So you'll be able to jump in to design landscapes, cinematics, visual effects, and create some nice gameplay. Now on the other side, if you're used to building in Unreal Engine, how many people use Unreal Engine here? A lot of people. Great. You're also in a good place because with UEFN, it is Unreal Engine for Fortnite after all, you have the ability to use Unreal Engine in a very or UEFN in a very familiar environment, and at the same time you're also able to benefit from all the tools that's available within Fortnite Creative, and UEFN is built for multiplayer scale at a global level, so you'll also get the creative editing tools that come with Fortnite Creative that also allow you the drag and drop functionality and also leverage what Unreal Engine already provides for you as an editor. So UEFN allows you to make and import your own custom content, allowing your game to transcend from your typical Fortnite look and feel to also just capture the look and feel of your own IP. So it doesn't have to look like a Fortnite or your typical Fortnite-ish kind of an experience. You can even do things like adding animation, textures, and even sounds to bring to your experience. We also know how important it is to bring assets from other places, and that's why we have introduced Fab. Now, we do have a great talk by my colleague Richard, who will be talking more in depth about Fab, but simply speaking, it is our unifying marketplace for all your assets. We add fresh content pretty much weekly, so that can help you provide a diverse selection of interesting looking assets that you can then bring into Fortnite to have a hassle-free game development that when you're building your game. And while you're designing your next big hit game, you can also take advantage of the live edit functionality to playtest and view things from the perspective of the player exactly in the environment that they would be playing. Additionally, you can also bring in others who are part of your development team to do live collaboration and edit things in the world once you see how things look from the player's perspective. And in order to make game logic, you have to use a combination of devices and verse. Now, what are devices? Now, devices are the primary building blocks for authoring game mechanics inside Fortnite. Now, different devices can do a lot of different things. There's devices that help you teleport. There are devices that grant you items. And they can also be combined together like building blocks to build your own game mechanics. And you can customize devices to build some complex components that can then be combined to create your own unique mechanics. But in devices, you can only do what Fortnite we have been providing to you. So what if you want to make your own gameplay? That's when we have verse, because we know people want to make more advanced logic than what devices alone can offer. And verse is a brand new programming language that is also currently in beta. And you can use verse alongside devices and then also chain them together. And when you're done, you can share those snippets of code to anyone else to be able to use. Just to give you an idea, verse is a multi-paradigm programming language. It uses all the aspects of functional programming, object-oriented programming and imperative programming and puts them all together. Karan from Green Drain has an excellent talk later today on how you can get yourself familiarized with Verse, so definitely attend it if you're a programmer and would like to know more about Verse. So let's look at inspiration. So that's really the introduction part. So I hope that gave you a good idea. So let's talk about inspiration. This is said by my boss's 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 boss, right? Whoever brings a billion players, a billion users first would be the presumed leader in setting the standards. That was Tim Sweeney. And today, inside Fortnite, we have 500 million players on Fortnite, and it looks like we are in line to add another 500 million players. But it's not just players, right? In order to engage these players, you also need to have a lot of creators who can create content that is relevant to these many players. So that got me thinking, where can we find another 500 million plus players and creators? Got any idea? Yeah? Looks like that yellow part is of this very helpful world population history website, shows the number of people based on location. And India is number one in many things, but we're also number one in the number of youngest people in the world. We have the most number of youngest people in the world as compared to any other country. And it's not only that, that's cool, but it's really that a lot of these places I showed you earlier have been doing world building for thousands of years now. So you already have that culture going on. And meanwhile, as part of my job, I'm also constantly traveling, I'm meeting with people, I'm meeting new studios, I'm getting introduced to new cultures. And photogrammetry is my new hobby. Whenever I find time, I just take out my phone, I start scanning assets using the Reality Scan app. And unlike a few years ago, where photogrammetry was kind of inaccessible, today it's very easy. Just take out your phone, all you really need is your phone, frankly. But it is really no fun if you only have a 3D model, because we have seen that during the early stages of AR, we saw a dragon in the hand, it blew fire, it's like, oh, so cool, and then what? So it has to have some functional usage to it. And so when UEFN got announced, it got me, along with other developers, quite excited because now there is something that we could do. So before I play this video, by the way, I want to warn you, I am not a lighting artist, I am a full stack programmer. So I just cobbled together assets that I had scanned, I dropped them inside UEFN, and during the technical part of this talk, I'll show you how to put together an environment like this. Probably you could do it a lot better. And I also want to note that I will not be walking you through how to use the Reality Scan app, because I think the best way for you to experience that is in our booth, in the Unreal Engine booth, where we have a specific section where you can play around with the Reality Scan app too. So with that said, here is what it is. So this is an environment that I put together. In this level, you are barred from entering the inner sanctum of this environment unless you destroy this custom prop that I had, which opens the gate. So I destroyed, blam, 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 and I will show you how to recreate this level. I'll walk you through the process of importing scanned assets. How do you clean those assets up? How do you convert them into props? And how can you work with simple inbuilt Fortnite devices? Sounds good? Let's go. So assets you saw, by the way, was a combination of assets I found in Abu Dhabi, in India, in Riyadh, in Turkey, and there are also a few built-in assets from Fortnite and also some quick sell assets. So let's talk about how to work with them. Now, before I begin, this is not a new idea. It's not like I came up with this like, hey, you can import assets. Like, that's not a new idea. There's been quite a few companies who are all, by the way, a lot of them are here, who have been building worlds with a local flavor in it. So let's take a look at a few examples. So to begin with, there is PropVR. PropVR is a studio based in Canada, Middle East, and in India. They are experts in building digital twins or digital twin-based applications. And now what they realized was, in order to reach to the next generation, they've been dropping the same digital twin city inside Fortnite. They recreated a part of Dubai in Fortnite and also added some pretty cool gameplay elements in it using UEFN. So if Karthik from PropVR, you're here, say hi. Hey, there you are. Or someone. Oh, you just raised your hand randomly. Okay, anyway, there you go. This other example is from Masala Games. Shalin? No? They are an Indian-based gaming and animation studio. Their mission is to produce content and games which reflects modern India. So here we are seeing samosas, tablas, carts, auto rickshaws, which are all custom-made assets that were imported into Fortnite using UEFN. By the way, their game just got published, so you should go to the booth, Unreal Engine booth, where we have this game where you can play it, which is pretty nice. The third and final example I want to give is from Primitive, and they're also based in India. This particular example is interesting because they reimagined pop culture, particularly the Fortnite canon of pop culture, and made it into an endless runner game where you have to escape from Columbo, which is a popular character inside Fortnite. And again, you can play all of these levels in the Unreal Engine booth, so do check it out. So let's begin. What are some of the neat ways to add local flavors to your island? Now, obviously, custom making assets inside through Maya or Blender is the most obvious one. And I won't be talking about it because there is another way. And this is through the Reality Scan app on your phone. And by the way, this works both on iOS and Android, which is phenomenal. So when you scan any asset, the process happens, or the processing happens on the Reality Scan servers, and the finished model is uploaded to the Sketchfab website. This wall, by the way, was scanned in a restaurant in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. So I scanned it, it got uploaded. And then you can download the assets by scrolling down and clicking on the download 3D model link. And when you click on it, you have the ability to download the assets in a number of formats. I'm a fan of GLTF, so I'm just going to click on that. Once it's downloaded, you can open up UEFN to then import the model. And from the content browser, I just click on import. And in the import options, I'm just going to leave it default. So let's see what happens. I click on import. It takes a time. But once it's imported, there is a problem. The problem is the model seems to be all scattered. In fact, if I open up one of those assets, I can really only see part of the wall. So it's not the entire wall. So how do you fix it? Something that you typically face. The fix is actually quite simple. Now first, let me just delete these assets. I don't need to get them. I'll just re-import them. And when I click on re-import, I'm going to select this option called Combine Static Meshes. And as the name suggests, it will combine all the assets together. So let me open up the content browser. And this time, instead of like a dozen or so scattered assets, there is only really one wall. So let me open that up. There you go. It's one static mesh, which is nice. The other problem you will encounter if you're scanning assets is having unwanted meshes and artifacts. This is a statue I had at home. So when I scanned the statue, I had the statue on a stool. So if I just move it up, so you can see there's a stool at the bottom. And Reality Scan app also captured the stool, which I don't really care about. So how do I remove that? I could, of course, import this model back into Maya or Blender and then remove it, but that's quite cumbersome. And so there's a simpler way to remove unwanted parts of your model using UEFN's modeling tools. So in the top left corner, I'm going to select modeling tools, which will open up a new window showing all the modeling options inside UEFN. And in there, there's a number of options, but my favorite one is something called the planar cut, which I use all the time. And planar cut does something very simple. All the polygons which are behind the selected plane gets removed. That's it. So I'm going to move that plane down to the foot of the statue, and instantly that stool part of the model got deleted. And I'm going to slightly adjust it, and I'm just going to click on accept, and I'm done. So now unwanted parts of my model is gone. When you're working with a team, assets not getting synced is a very typical problem because multiple people are working in the same level and someone has imported a new asset. So when you import a new asset, rest of the other team members will just see like a giant red box, which is what you're seeing there. By the way, this wall that you're seeing was scanned in Assam when I was in Guwahati for the IGDC event, by the way. And the fix for that is quite simple. Just click on this button inside Unreal Engine or UEFN called Push Changes, and this will upload the imported assets to the Fortnite servers so that everyone in your team can then see your newly added asset. And there you go. So that's me in a different machine, but I can also see that asset through the Fortnite servers. So it's now ready for showtime. Everyone can see that asset because it's now on the servers. That said, it's really no fun if that asset is just lying around and being all non-interactive, because in order to make your imported asset interactive, such as the ability for, say, the player to destroy it by hitting on it, you need to make those assets that we just imported into what is called a building prop blueprint. And you can make a building prop by right-clicking in the content browser, selecting the blueprint class, and you have to select building prop. And I'm just going to rename this like BP underscore Assam wall. And in the blueprint with just the parent actor selected, I'm going to drag the static mesh of the import I just made into the details panel, and that's it. Now this is a building prop blueprint. I then dragged this new blueprint into the level, clicked on play. Well, nothing really happened. Keep hitting on it. Nothing has changed. It is still as non-interactive as before. Now, why is that? This is because in UEFN and in Fortnite Creative in general, there is a concept called devices, which I spoke to you about briefly. Now, devices again are self-contained logic which does one very specific thing, and that's all it does. And Fortnite has a number of inbuilt devices which we can access by looking into the Fortnite folder of the content browser. And one such device that we'll be using is called the prop manipulator. I'm going to drag the prop manipulator into the level, and I need to make sure that the device is overlapping with my building prop blueprint. And with the prop manipulator selected, I can then go to the details panel and redefine or define the properties such as the health of this prop. With that done, there you go. I can go back there, and now you can see that the wall is now interactive and it can also be destroyed. And by the way, you can also add like custom effects like Niagara particle systems, like say when you destroy the wall, a ghost flies out or treasure comes out or whatever, you can add, you can do all of that using the same system. So using these exact same techniques is how I put together this creepy looking but badly lit environment inside UEFN. This scene contains not just my own custom assets, but also default assets from Fortnite and also some Quixel Megascan assets. So you can see like, the party lights that you saw earlier, they were from Fortnite, but this, like that one, and then the ceiling of this environment has some Megascan assets too. And in fact, if you look closely from my previous travel slides video, the statue that you saw in that environment is what you saw what you're seeing over there in the red circle. So pretty cool if you ask me, just bringing those assets, dropping them inside Fortnite. So it's all cool, but you can't just go around importing all the assets that you fancy inside UEFN because there are certain hard limits when it comes to your project's file size. So you can keep an eye on the project's size by opening this correctly named project size window, which will show you some helpful stats. So for starters, the total size of all of your assets in your project cannot exceed 2 gigabytes. And the total download size of your island can only be 400 megabytes. So typically the biggest contributors of island size are your static meshes and textures and sometimes audio. Also note that your default Fortnite assets, like that's already part of your Fortnite game, do not contribute to the size. It's only your custom assets that's contributing to the size, which is quite helpful. So you can be quite creative when it comes to size management. So with all of that out of the way, let's create a very simple gameplay. In here I have a gate which is part of the default Fortnite asset, and using the sequencer device, I animated the gate to open. And so it's a very simple, like a simple keyframe animation, quick, do that, and that's all it does. And with the sequencer device selected, I am adding some user options to it, which just essentially says that the sequencer should only start playing when the prop device gets destroyed. And this prop, by the way, that you're seeing there is a lamp I scanned out of Abu Dhabi. So let's see it in action. So here I am, trying to enter the inner sanctum, bam, 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 trying to hit, it won't open, whatever I do. So I'm like, all right, I guess I need to destroy this lamp, which only I know I should be destroying, but there you go, it has 750 health. So I'm like, destroy, 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 blam. And now the sequencer plays, the gate opens, and now I can get in. Additionally, you'll see that blue light, that's actually a teleportation device. So I also added that. So if I jump into the teleportation device, I'm now automatically dropped into another part of the island, which is, for some reason, a cubicle swimming pool. So there you go. So that's very simple. Like it took no more than actually 15 minutes for me to put it all together, and that's pretty awesome. So that is a terrible level design, so don't use that. Because there is, if you go to this site, there is a level design best practices link where we have provided some really great direction on how to create good-looking, engaging Fortnite island experiences. I'll leave it out for a bit. I see a lot of people taking pictures of it. But yeah, but if, you should definitely check it out. Additionally, it doesn't have to be like all your scanned assets that you bring in have to be realistic looking, because using Quixel Mixer, which is also a free tool as part of the Epic Games family, it allows you to take creative ownership of your asset. So you can paint, you can sculpt, blend, mask, you can do whatever you want with Quixel Mixer, so that you can also make it as stylized assets that you can bring inside UEFN. On that note, I also want to add one very important thing. When you're scanning, when you're doing things, make sure that you have rights to those assets that you're bringing in. You can't just randomly scan something that's proprietary. So don't do that. Everything else you can. So with all that, you made a great game. It looks amazing. But how do you build a team? And this, like I said, was a thesis. By the way, this is not in any way a a conclusive team building direction. This is just one of the ways. This is all based on the feedback that I got from the studios that I've been discussing. And in order to build a team, there are particularly 3 problems that I think you need to overcome in order to be successful as a Fortnite publisher. So problem number 1 is discoverability on UEFN experience is quite hard. So game designers are excited to create experiences inside UEFN, but after the island is published, getting a large reach becomes quite difficult. And reach is also difficult even when your island gets featured in, say, the Discover part of Fortnite. The second problem is influencers definitely find the appeal of creating user-generated content using UEFN, and this also includes brands. So you're seeing here Honda, they have their own island inside Fortnite, but there is also a lack of artists, world builders, and technical artists who can build these islands for these influencers and for these brands. And additionally, if you're neither an artist or a developer, you might find that if you're going to use UEFN, there is definitely going to be a learning curve. And the third problem statement is, for creating custom assets using Blender or Maya, it takes time. I'm sure a lot of artists here will agree with that. And if your team is composed just of artists, you alone or they alone cannot create an engaging UEFN experience. So based on these 3 problem statements, this is the thesis. To address these 3 problems, and in order for you to build a UEFN experience, the proposal is your team should have people who can imagine and build the universe, develop campaigns, engage and activate the community, and equally importantly, have the ability to monitor and report player engagement. And to put responsibilities in buckets, you need game and level designers who understand the Fortnite audience and design experiences that provide built-in value. You need world builders and technical artists who can execute the vision of these designers, and this includes 3D modelers, technical artists, verse script writers, and so on. And equally importantly, you need to work with influencers and marketing folks who can build branding and campaign assets beyond, in fact, even Fortnite. It can also be going to like YouTube and Twitch streamers, and they should also be able to set up triggers to activate the community. So we have made a game. So let's wrap up by talking about the next steps we need to follow in order to get published. First, you need to join the Island Creator and Engagement Program. You'll want to follow all the steps to enable payouts and ensure that you're eligible for publishing. Then in the Creator portal, publishing is as simple as just filling in a form about your information about your island, including a thumbnail and a trailer for people to see, and just hit publish. And once you have hit publish, you will wait for the content review team to ensure that your game matches up with Fortnite Island Creator rules and age rating. And after passing the review, your island is now discoverable. So you can find your game in Fortnite. And Discover, like I said earlier, is constantly evolving. It's an evolving tool where you can browse things such as you can sort things by most popular or by platform or by specific genres and so on. It's primarily an algorithmic based sort which takes in a lot of inputs such as engagement, updates to your island, a lot more. There is also one manually curated row in the Discover section called Epic Picks. You can apply for that for any island that you have created, so we can also manually add it and say like, hey, this is an awesome island. So just go to creative.fortnite.com to apply for it. And then engagement payouts. Engagement payouts are proportionally distributes 40% of Fortnite net revenue from the item shop and most real money purchases to eligible creators. Both independent developers, and this includes both independent developers and also Epic. And payouts are based on what players enjoy in Fortnite and account for island popularity, engagement, attracting new users, and other measurements too. And UEFN, of course, is in public beta, so it's important to keep yourself updated on all the new features that is being released. The public roadmap of UEFN is now available on that link, and this should help you plan your experience that you're creating on your island. So I'll stay on this page if someone wants to take a picture, if you want to scan the QR code, or you can just search for UEFN public roadmap and you should be good. The previous level design one? Yeah, I'll do that shortly, like at the end, I'll just plop it over there. Yeah, no problem, man. Cool. So, some ideas to think about. This is the inspiration seeding part. What kind of games can you make? What about a South Indian horror game? Or what about a Rajput era game with detective elements? Or how about a Vijayanagara action adventure using traditional puppetry as a storytelling device? Or a Meghalaya exploration game with rhythm elements? Or maybe a platformer game around Awadhi cuisine, sure. And so the possibilities are quite endless and it's quite exciting. So that's pretty much my talk. I want to thank all of these studios who have been instrumental in providing valuable feedback based on their own UEFN experiences. We have Primitive, Antara, Masala Games, and Kashi Sports from India, UGC 90 from Turkey, PropVR from Canada, Middle East, and India, and Cleverine Studio from Cambodia. I hope this talk inspired you to how to create experiences inside UEFN. And also how you can maybe create culturally relevant experiences inside UEFN. So if you want to get started, that's the site. Go to epic.gm/UEFN and you can start making Fortnite creative experiences using Unreal Editor for Fortnite. So thank you very much. And by the way, I have another 8 more minutes, so if you have any questions, happy to answer them. But thank you. Yeah. Hey, there you are. I was just searching for you. Yeah. And you. Hi. All right. Question. Yeah. We'll wrap it up. Okay. 2 questions. Yeah.
Regarding discoverability, can I run marketing campaigns and directly link to an island? How does that work? In the dashboard of Fortnite Creative or wherever I publish, can I see how many users came through which channel? Can I do all those?
Yes, you can. So first off, to market your island, there is an island code that is unique to your island. So people can then, that's the marketing, that's how you direct people to your island, to the island code. And there is a very good dashboard, like a live ops dashboard that we provide, which has analytics of how many people went to your island, what was your engagement, how long did they spend in the island. You have all of those in the analytics dashboard. Yeah. One more question? Yeah.
Okay, so my question was like you mentioned the reality scan.
Yes.
So in future, can we see like controlling over the mesh and details? Like sometimes we don't need a lot of details, and if we put a lot of heavy stuff into our scene or game, there can be some output issues and lag can be like seen.
Yeah.
So can we see controlling over like over our mesh, like how much detail you want to put in that asset?
Yeah, so the modeling tools is actually quite amazing on the front. So when you open up the modeling tools and select any mesh, static mesh, it will show you how many polygons are there in the mesh, and you can also reduce the polygons in 2 methods. You can reduce it by percentage. Yeah, you can reduce it by percentage, or you can also reduce it by the number of polygons. So you can set, I only want 10,000 polygons on this static mesh, and it'll kind of try to maintain the visual fidelity of it in there. So that's, yeah, you could do that.
Thank you.
Cool. Meanwhile, let me just go back really quickly. This one. You wanted that link? Yeah, there you go. Sure. Last question. Over there at the very, oh, shit. All right, okay. All right, 2 more questions, I guess, yeah.
So this is regarding the discoverability issue you'd mentioned. I was wondering if you're looking at reducing the steps for, say, a first-time user, somebody who doesn't have Fortnite installed, for them to experience what has been created.
I didn't get your question, sorry.
Are you considering how you can reduce the steps for somebody who has, let's say, discovered an island they want to try out,
Yeah.
to experience that? Right now, you have to install Unreal, enter the creator, install Fortnite, go to the Discover page, enter the creator code, then load up the island. Is there some way in which you can, whether that's demoing it, the place, Google Store has instant play, or some way to just get in there faster?
Yeah, right now, again, UEFN is in beta for this very reason, right? There is a lot of things that we are getting as feedback and we are adding as functionality. As it stands today, that's the process. Like, it doesn't change. You have to install Fortnite, you have to add the island code, you have to go to the Discover section and do that. Of course, you can have videos of that island, which you can put it on YouTube or Twitch and have people viscerally or, in a passive manner, go take a look at that island. But yeah, that's it is in development. But the idea eventually one day would be a lot easier jumping into your island kind of experience. But as it stands now, this is it. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Last question. Yeah.
Hello. So my question is, if the game is published and it is doing good, and I decide to expand the game.
Can you keep? Yeah.
Yeah. If I decide to expand the game, is it possible to migrate this project to Unreal 5, back to Unreal 5?
Yes, and yes, you can. So there is an export, like Unreal Engine for Fortnite is like Unreal Engine. So you can right click on asset and you can export or migrate that asset into Unreal Engine 2. So you could do that. The assets will migrate, but the game logic will not.
Okay.
Because it's worse and devices, they are
Yeah.
not, they don't work with Unreal Engine.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. All right. If there's any more questions, I'll still be around. You can see me lurking here or at the booth. But happy to answer any more questions that you might have. But I think Supreet just told this, so I have to wrap it up. So thank you so much. Next up is Avinash from Antara. He's giving an amazing talk about how he has integrated his game Antara into UEFN. So come on over, Avinash. Yeah.